I'm bored. Entertain me.
Chelsea, I'm trying to research.
Hey, do you guys remember those mad, crazy CGI dogs on this film?
What film?
The Day After Tomorrow, you know, when they go on the iced over ship and there's
The film about global warming and climate change and stuff.
They've got some pretty awesome weather stuff in there, eh? Like
freaking
the
crazy,
whole world freezes. It's pretty awesome. Do you reckon that would happen in real life?
Are you kidding me? No way that would happen. It's just Hollywood junk. It's just made up.
But it's about climate change, and climate change is happening.
Yeah, but it's not happening that fast. I mean, the world's not going to be covered in ice the day after tomorrow.
Come on, you know what we gotta do. Okay. Let's go. Woo-hoo.
We were watching The Day After Tomorrow and we were wondering, is that possible? Could it really happen?
Well, not exactly the way it's shown in the movie, but some of the science that it was based on is actually good stuff that's well understood. And then to make it an exciting action movie, all the stuff that would have happened over 5,000 years kind of got packed into a few days, which I don't think that could ever really happen. But there are tipping points that can cause the whole climate system to change very quickly. But we're still talking 10 or 20 years, not 10 or 20 days.
How would climate change even affect us?
The climate we've had for the last several thousand years has been pretty constant, and the whole of human society's been built up on the idea that it's warm over here and it's wet over there, and crops, such and such a crop grows really well in the Midwest of the US or Canterbury or whatever. And if you change the climate enough, then all of that goes out the window, and you know, crops will grow and people will be able to live places, but they'll be different places to what they are now. So if you've got 6 billion people that you need to shift around and feed and everything, it's just going to be a big problem, basically.
So we would just have to figure out our whole world again.
Yeah, actually, it's a pretty exciting prospect.
What's your biggest concern for, say, your grandchildren?
My biggest concerns are around things that are called rapid climate changes. The climate gets to some point where something bad happens quickly. One thing that does seem to be coming quite likely is the Greenland ice sheet melting. The last time the ice melted, sort of before the last ice age, temperatures were 2 or 3 degrees warmer than they are at the moment. And it looks like temperatures might be 2 or 3 degrees warmer than they are at the moment in another 100 years. And if that happened, sea levels all around the world would go up about 5 or 6 metres. In a lot of countries, even places like the US, Florida and stuff, where millions of people live, a lot of land would disappear. And places like Bangladesh and so on in the tropics.
Looking outside, it's pretty grey and cold and murky, and some people would say that global warming isn't really happening because it's not actually getting any warmer.
The thing is, you've got to have quite a long memory to know what's going on. If you look at the temperatures in New Zealand over the last 100 years, you certainly see that, yeah, they've been going up. I think New Zealand's about 1 degree warmer on average than it was 100 years ago. But you look at the data and it goes like this, and we live in this part, and all we see is and you don't know really that the temperatures have warmed up. People come up to me and say, yeah, that's right, when I was a kid 40 years ago, going to school in the winter, I'd be smashing the ice in the puddles along the road on the way to school. And I remember doing that. But then they say, yeah, but my kids don't have that opportunity. We don't get frosts here anymore.
Actually, when I was real little, it seemed to hail lots in winter.
Yeah, but not so much now.
Stink one!
You know, Barnaby, cars spew out fuel emissions that contribute to greenhouse gases. Not like my hasty little bike here.
Well, Dr. Greenfinger, your hasty little bike wouldn't stand a chance against my hasty big car.
Yeah, well, I think I might take that up, because in rush hour, when these cars are bumper to bumper, my bike's weaving through you.
Not a chance.
Let's go.
What exactly is contributing to climate change?
Mostly greenhouse gases. So the way the Earth works, there's sunlight coming in to warm us up, and then the Earth lets off heat to balance the amount of sunlight coming in. Now, if there wasn't any atmosphere or there weren't any greenhouse gases, that'd all work very nicely. and the Earth would be about 15 degrees below freezing on average. It would be too cold to live on. But because there's things like carbon dioxide and methane in the atmosphere, they're really good at stopping that heat getting out. So the Earth radiates away and the atmosphere traps that heat and sends some of it back down, and that's what's called the natural greenhouse effect. Putting more of this stuff into the atmosphere makes it harder for the heat to get out. So it makes the atmosphere better at trapping the heat that's trying to escape. And so the Earth warms up.
Where does carbon dioxide and methane mostly come from?
The main contributors are burning of fossil fuels, plus trees and plants. They take in carbon dioxide and they release oxygen. So if you cut down trees, then that reduces that part of the system.
Okay, so we should find clean energy sources.
Don't kill the rainforest.
And carpool or bike.
But what about methane?
Methane is the biggest contributor in New Zealand, and that comes from sheep and cows burping and farting, I guess.
Is there any way we can stop them from burping?
Not entirely.
Bunny's on the run.
Damn, red light.
Not worried. Not at all.
He's burning your ass, man.
Come on, guys, have a little faith. There he is. Ha! Ha! Oh, there he goes. Jeez.
Curses. A pedestrian crossing.
Ah, my shortcut, my table, my park. Well, Mr. Punctuality.
You got lucky.
Luck? Is that what it was? The reason I won is because my energy source, my body, is renewable energy.
It's time to consult some methane-producing ruminants.
Here's one with some kind of apparatus on her back.
Strangely enough, she looks pretty happy.
With animal experiments, you need to have animals that behave in a normal manner and not being frightened or upset by the techniques you're using, because if she was frightened, she wouldn't eat properly, so we wouldn't get a good estimate. The really good thing about this is that we can measure the methane production of an animal when it's doing what it would do on a normal day-to-day basis.
Yeah. This cow is a friendly cow.
The methane isn't actually produced by the animal. It's produced by bugs that live in its stomach, and it's continuously burped out. So all day you're getting burps from the animal, which brings out methane. Some of it comes out as burp, and some of it actually does come out as part of their breath.
But it's not just burping and farting.
In actual fact, virtually nothing comes out in terms of farting. Very, very small amount.
So how does the tube sitting like above the nose capture all the things that come out of its mouth?
Basically, it relies on the fact that the container on the back is at negative pressure, so it is actually sucking air into it.
I think she's getting sick of us.
I think she is too. New Zealand produces 6 times more methane per capita than any other country.
That's because we're an agricultural country. We've got heaps of ruminants.
And not so many people.
Apparently we could reduce it a bit by changing our animal feed.
Yeah, because different kinds of feed, like grain, change the types of bacteria in cow stomachs.
But then we wouldn't get to use all this good, easy to grow
free grass.
They're running towards me.
Well, there might not be much hope for Chelsea, but there is hope. Trees!
We also have what we term sinks for CO2. Basically, that means forests. We've planted enough trees to mean that since 1990, we've reduced our greenhouse gas emissions to the atmosphere.
So if everyone watching went and planted a tree at home, would it help?
It certainly helps to absorb the carbon that is emitted from other sources, yes.
Barnaby, can you get up? Barnaby boy, look a boy.
Hello! Hi, guess
We're back.
Okay, so we went to go and see people about climate change, and we found out that it's not that good, but like one of the things I reckon the best solution is to just plant lots of trees, because the trees eat greenhouse gases. So say you have 20 cows, plant 20 trees.
Yeah, because they just suck up all
If you
of
drive
it.
to work, plant a tree, a really big one.
Well, let's just all go and hug trees then. Thank you for this beautiful bounty of air.
I love you, Carl.
Hold up. I think Tess is freaked out by climate change. She's in denial.
Yeah, and Barnaby short-circuited when I beat him on my bike. He's turned into a hippie.
Oh.